So today we're going to unlock some of the secrets of the animal kingdom, and we're using the incredible book Animal Knowledge Genius as our guide. From creatures you see every day to the ones that are just, well, totally bizarre, you're going to be amazed by the sheer diversity of life on this planet. Let's just kick things off with a number that blows my mind every time I hear it. 8 million. That's the estimated number of animal species on Earth. But you know what's really staggering? Scientists think the vast majority of them we haven't even discovered yet. Just think about that. We're sharing a planet with millions of life forms we've never even laid eyes on. So what even makes an animal an animal? What's the universal blueprint? Well, it really boils down to just a few key things. You see right here, they got to eat for energy, they have to be able to move, to breathe, to sense the world around them, and, of course, to reproduce. Every single one of those 8 million species shares this fundamental design, which has then been twisted and adapted in countless incredible ways. Okay, so to make sense of all that crazy variety, scientists group animals into different classes, and we're about to do a real rapid-fire tour through the main ones. Let's dive in and see how they're all connected, yet so unbelievably different. First up, we've got the undisputed rulers of the animal kingdom, at least when it comes to sheer numbers, the invertebrates. Now get this. This one group makes up a staggering 97% of all known animal species. Let that sink in for a second. Almost everything we usually think of, mammals, birds, fish, they're all squeezed into that other tiny 3%. And what's the one thing that unites this massive group? Well, it's what they don't have: an internal skeleton, a backbone. All right, so from the spineless, we move to the vertebrates, starting with fish. These guys are the absolute masters of the aquatic world, and they have 3 key adaptations for a life completely underwater. They live in water, obviously. They use these amazing organs called gills to pull oxygen right out of it, and they're usually covered in a protective layer of scales. Next up, we have the amphibians, the masters of 2 worlds. The coolest thing about them is their ability to live this kind of double life. They can breathe on land, a lot of them with lungs, but they can also absorb oxygen right through their moist skin. And that's what lets them breathe in water, too. We're talking frogs, salamanders, newts, that whole crew. From moist skin to scaly skin, we arrive at the reptiles. This is a super diverse group. We've got lizards, snakes, crocodiles, you name it. And they all share this key trait. They're cold-blooded. Now, that doesn't mean their blood is actually cold. It just means they have to rely on outside heat, like basking in the sun, to get their body temperature up and running. Soaring into our next category, we've got birds. And their defining characteristic, the one thing that's totally unique to them in the entire animal kingdom, is feathers. No other animal group has them. And these incredible structures aren't just for flight, they're also super important for insulation, because birds are warm-blooded, which means they generate their own body heat. And finally, we get to the group that we belong to, mammals. Yep, that's us. Just like birds, we're warm-blooded, but our defining features are having hair or fur at some point in our lives, and the fact that mothers produce milk to feed their young. From the tiniest little shrew to the gigantic blue whale, we're all part of this club. All right, you just got a crash course in the animal kingdom. So, how about we put that new knowledge to the test? It's time for a little pop quiz with some clues pulled straight from our source material. Let's see what you got. You ready for your first challenge? Take a good look. Can you name this creature? I'll give you a second before the clues pop up. Okay, here we go. The clue is, it's the biggest lizard of them all, a huge reptile that you'll only find on a few small islands in Indonesia. And get this little detail. Sailors a long time ago actually mistook it for a mythical beast. Got any guesses locked in? If you said the Komodo dragon, you are absolutely right. Nailed it! That powerful reptile really is a giant among lizards. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so that was the warm-up. This one's a little trickier. What about this animal? It's got a really unique and kind of dramatic way of defending itself. Okay, here's the clue for you. If a sudden flash of its wide neck ruff isn't enough to scare off a predator, this lizard will literally make a run for it, and sometimes it does it on just 2 legs. Can you imagine seeing that? What an incredible sight. And the answer is the frilled lizard. What a fantastic example of just how weird and wonderful animal adaptations can get. Awesome job on the quiz. So that was fun, right? And it's such a great reminder of the incredible variety of life out there. But that very variety is now under threat. So we need to shift gears and turn to a more serious topic, the unprecedented challenges facing the animal kingdom, and really our role in all of it. This slide, well, it lays out the major threats, and it's a heavy list. You've got deforestation and construction just wiping out habitats. Climate change is altering entire ecosystems. Then there's poaching and overfishing, which are just devastating populations, and all the pollution poisoning the environment. These are the human-driven pressures that are pushing countless species right to the edge. And this chart really puts that crisis into perspective. The numbers here from the IUCN, they're just shocking. I mean, look at amphibians. A staggering 40% of all their species are at risk of extinction. 40%. These aren't just statistics. They represent a devastating and very real loss of life that's happening right now. To make this even more real, let's just focus on one story. This is the Sumatran rhino. It is critically endangered. And the number you really need to see on the screen is this one. There are fewer than 80 of these magnificent animals left in the entire world. So, how did it get this bad? Well, the path to extinction is a heartbreakingly clear one. First, logging came in and just destroyed their forest homes. Then, that destruction split the few remaining rhinos into tiny, isolated groups, which made it almost impossible for them to find mates. And then, on top of all that, you have poachers relentlessly hunting them for their horns. It's just a perfect storm of human pressure. But the story doesn't have to end there. Amidst all this crisis, there is hope. This is what conservation in action looks like. There are people working tirelessly to protect habitats and the animals that live there. In this picture, orphaned elephants, whose mothers were probably killed by poachers, are being rescued, they're being hand-fed, and they're cared for in wildlife reserves. They're being given a real second chance at life. And so we end on this thought. From the millions of species we haven't even met yet, to the last handful of Sumatran rhinos fighting for their very survival, it's so clear that the animal world is deeply, deeply connected to our own actions. The future of this incredible, beautiful, and vital kingdom, it's in our hands. The only question is, what will we do next?